Greetings, everybody. Welcome to our Breaking the Glass event, Breaking the Glass Ceiling for our discussion with women working in male dominated fields. Welcome, welcome. My name is Danielle Roan, and I'm a member of Beta Phi Omega Sorority Incorporated, the Beta Mu chapter here in Nashville, Tennessee. And we have got a great event for you all tonight. I'll allow my co-host Mallory to introduce herself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mallory Yancey, and I am a proud member of Beta Phi Omega Sorority Incorporated and a member of the Beta Mu chapter in Nashville, Tennessee. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. I'm really excited for this event. I hope that you all have some takeaways. And I would like to start the introduction of our panelists. So, panelists, once I call your name, please state your name, your pronoun, your title and occupation, and your location, please. So, if Tabitha could start us off.
Hello, I am Chief Petty Officer Tabitha Brown. My pronouns are she, her. I work in the Pentagon for a really cool guy that sits in a cool seat there, and I am in Washington, D.C.
Thank you, Tabitha. And next up, we have Ashley.
Hello, my name's Ashley Dinsmore. My pronouns are she, her, and they. I'm currently supervisor at a manufacturing plant. I'm a certified welder and carpenter, and I'm happy to be here. Not much.
Hi guys, real quick, let me interject. My name is Opal Harris. I am a part of the Beta Zeta chapter in Atlanta, Georgia, also a part of the Beta Phi Omega Sorority Incorporated, and we are all here on behalf of the national program, and we're bringing you this wonderful event. Just wanted to interject real quick. You're like, what's that lady over there in the yellow? I'm over here just helping to facilitate. So if you guys have any comments, questions, and we haven't got to them, just know that I am looking for that type of stuff. So type your stuff, your comments and questions in the comment section, and we'll get it up for you guys. You can continue, Mallory.
Thank you so much, Opal. I appreciate that. Next up, we have Detective Melissa.
Detective Flores, can you hear us? I know there's a little bit of delay, y'all. Sorry about that. Flores, can you hear us?
Hey everybody, my name is Melissa Reed Flores. I work with Metro Nashville Police Department, and I am a detective in youth services, sex crimes, and death investigations for young kids. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I'm all the way from Nashville.
Thank you, Melissa. And if you
Hey
want the next
everyone,
one,
I am Officer Nakia Reed.
I can.
You can go ahead. It's that delay that we're hearing. You can go ahead, Reed. Detective Reed.
I can hear you guys.
Okay, you can, Nakia, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
You can go on to the next one, and then
I
we'll
can
just
hear.
come back to her.
Okay, we will come back to Nakia. If Sergeant Murphy would like to.
My name is Officer Nakia Reed.
question.
I'm the LGBTQ liaison for Metro Nashville Police Department. And
Oh no, I think we lost him. Yes, okay. Okay, I think that's everyone. Okay, so again, I appreciate you guys for joining us. There's Sergeant Murphy. Here she is. Sergeant Murphy, you can go ahead and give us your introduction, please.
Sure. Good evening, everybody. Sergeant CJ Murphy from Atlanta Police Department and a great ATL. I've been with the department for about 11 years. Currently, I am the unit supervisor over the police academy, in charge of about 90 recruits at this time. My pronouns are she and her.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, guys. So again, like I said, we have a very good event planned for you guys. Just a conversation to the discussion, including all of these powerful, great women that you see before you, discussing their different experiences that they've had in their different diverse career fields. It's going to be a very informative as well as a personal dialogue that we've got here. So first up, what we have that I would like to ask each of you is how and when do you differentiate between rudeness and harassment in your workplace? And how do you address it? And anyone can just jump in.
So, of course, you guys know with the military ranking structure, there is guidelines and policies and procedures for things. But I think it's also important to remember that we're all human, even though we put on these uniforms and these clothes to go to work. One of the things that I let people know is what you accept will always be your standard. And to make sure that, you're addressing people how you would like to be addressed. I think with PC culture, people have gotten comfortable with it's slick now. It's a little more insidious now. So I like to practice conscious correctness and conscious correction. So if it makes you uncomfortable, if it triggers a little flag, then it's incumbent that you say something. Otherwise, that person is going to continue that behavior somewhere else. So that's really how I deal with things. Like, is that really what you meant to say? Or can you please explain to me what you mean by that? I will ask for clarity if I don't need it, just to make sure that the person is conscious of what they said to me too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I totally agree. I say what's on my mind, point blank, period. I know the difference because honestly, I work with a bunch of Caucasian males. It's not many Black males I work with. It's a lot of Caucasian males. And, they already feel privileged, no offense to them, but they do because they're guys. So, I have to break it to them right then and there, like, hey, we're not going to do that. You're not going to talk to me like that. I'm going to respect you. You're going to respect me. And then we move on from there. And I haven't had a problem, since then. Sorry, I had to chime in.
No, that's good. Yeah, please.
Yes, thank you for chiming in. Anyone else?
I think for me, the biggest thing is just making sure the level of respect that I give is reciprocated. So anytime I have to step up and take a role or correct someone who is male or even ranked than I am with our structure, it's necessary. It's what you allow is what will happen. And I agree with everything that the other panelists said, that we have to demand and also command respect. And there's no way that you're going to disrespect me in the position that I've earned just as much as anybody else here. So I think being strong in that and holding that position is what makes us be successful where we are.
Absolutely. I completely agree with all of you. Thank you for answering that. I do want to let Nakia introduce herself if she would like to. Take it away.
All right, y'all. Sorry. Can y'all hear me now? We're good?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So again, my name is Officer Nakia Reed. I work for Metro Nashville Police Department for the Office of Community Outreach and Partnership, and my position is the LGBTQ liaison.
Very
awesome.
nice.
Thank you
very
so much.
important and necessary.
Yes.
Thank you for all of y'all.
Oh, go ahead, Danielle.
No, I'm sorry.
This is just how it's going to be, okay, everyone? Like, we're just going to be flowing. So chime in whenever, okay? So I do want to move on to our next question. So what role does the culture of an organization play when deciding employment and affiliation for you? That's pretty deep, I know.
Don't be nervous, y'all. Anybody can answer. It's okay.
So for me, that plays a really, really big role. I know when I decided I want to become a police officer, I looked at several different departments to see how they accepted the LGBTQ community, and seeing that APD had a LGBT liaison, they walked the Pride Parade, they were very open. That played a huge role. Now, once I got into the police department, I met mentors that, females in positions, they still struggle even today. But there is opportunity to see female chiefs and deputy chiefs and majors and captains made me want to achieve even more within the organization. So for me, it's everything. Women in leadership positions is something that I need to see, that I need to know it is possible. So
it's possible. Yeah.
When I joined the military, it was still don't ask, don't tell. And that was for almost 10 years of my career. So I spent a lot of time trying to figure out who I was just in a uniform without having to identify as all these other like amazing things about me, right? But my organization is trying to figure it out. I think on a very public scale, they're trying to figure it out. So when it comes to like culture of things, especially with punitive things that happen, like punishments and stuff like that, I think they're trying to write it into law to make it easier to cope and adapt with the changing of things. The EO culture in the military has grown tremendously in the past 10 years, so that helps a lot. None of that was a part of my decision to go to the military at all. I just wanted to get out of Cincinnati. So it was like culture of the Navy says that I can get on a ship and travel the whole world and I can drink when I'm 18. So it was like, sweet, I'm out of here. But when it came to like, I had to grow into the organization. I had to grow to love it too, despite all of its shortcomings in lack of service to who I was outside of just being a sailor in a uniform. So I think that's still developing for me.
That's a very a good point that you mentioned, Tabitha, growing to learn and learning to love what you do. It is very much so a journey at all times. So I appreciate you saying that and mentioning that point. Definitely. So if you ladies could answer for us, what changes have you or would you implement in your workplace to create a more diverse culture?
I'll answer this one. So now that we're in this new era, and I think it's safe to say most of us are in our 30s-ish range, we kind of are still a little bit on the latter side of the old school era, right? We are very structured. We are very, this is how it goes. Yes, you have some wiggle room for new and for change, but this new generation coming up, they are all about rewriting the book, okay? And it's something very difficult, I think, for our generation to adapt to, whereas it also is difficult for the younger generation to adapt to our ways. So we're kind of at like a heads, some type of head still where we're button heads. And I think that for my particular job, I would want to bring up some type of program where everybody had a voice and we came to the table and we actually heard each other's ideas on how we can grow together versus continuing up this path or completely changing it to this path. How can we melt everybody's mindsets and ways that they choose to move and what they want, don't want, and melt it together? And we have just a traditional organizations and alliances at work. Like, we have to be able to bring in the new. We have to be flexible. We have to be open to change, and change is hard for some people, especially in our era.
Yes. Absolutely. Great points, Opal. Anyone else?
I wish I could get rid of the idea that diversity means just different colored people at the table or different genders or like this inclusivity of like pronouns. Like, I wish I could just get rid of that idea that just represents diversity. I think there's so many levels to it, like diversity in thought.
Yeah, so one thing that we've done, again, I mentioned I work for the Office of Community Outreach and Partnership. We have different liaisons to reach out to different communities. So we have a Kurdish liaison, we have an Asian liaison, we have an elderly liaison, and a few more positions. So what we're trying to do is reach those areas that in the past, there was no focus on. So that's definitely one thing that since we got our new chief, that he's been stressing is community outreach, community partnerships, and basically us depending on each other, right? That we don't come into your community and we tell you what you need, that we open up the floor so that you can tell us what you need, and that we work together to make things work better.
Exactly.
For me, when I joined the police department, you couldn't have locks. We had to cut off our locks to go through the police department. So one of our goals, me and my classmates of the academy, was to change the culture of the police department's academy. So as the leader now, I instituted they can keep their locks. Locks can be professional. They can have natural hair. They can have braids, things of that nature. I was able to implement going to the Civil Rights Museum, teaching a fair and impartial policing class, implicit and explicit biases. We do a class what's called Beyond the Blue, where they get letters from people who are incarcerated to tell them how they would feel if an officer pulled them over. We go beyond the scope of what policing used to be. And that's the beautiful thing about growing within the department and becoming a leader. You're able to change those things. And we're not done yet. Like, if it was up to me and I keep doing what I'm doing, the way that we police is going to change completely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do know that we have a few questions in the comments.
I have a question before we go to the comments. And this is actually a two-part question. When you guys see people coming up underneath you who look like you, who remind you of you in some way, shape, form, or fashion, do you, one, pull them in? Do you give them special attention in the sense of, hey, let me talk to you, sidebar? Let's go out and have dinner and let me give you the background of this and that. Do you do that? Do you feel like that's appropriate? And on a general level, what type of advice would you guys give people who are coming up into a role like yours?
I always tell, like, I didn't see female Black Master Chiefs until I moved to the East Coast and had been in the military for over 14 years. I had not seen them in person. Of course, I knew they existed, right? But I had not seen them in person. And so when I was coming up through the ranks, I was told by a chief who is now a Master Chief. She's the highest enlisted rank you can be. She told me, you will treat everybody the same way that you want it to be treated. I know that this is a cultural thing, and I'm sure that the other Black women here can probably attest to the type of behavior, but just like being mean to each other in these competitive environments and kind of stepping back and wondering, like, I just showed up as me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking up to you. I want to be where you are. And this person who gave me that advice experienced the same thing. She's like, remember how that feels, right? And also remember how in awe you are when you see women of color in positions you've never seen in person. Mm-hmm. And like, keep that magic, you know, like, and then instill that in everybody else. I wouldn't say I give my Black female peers and subordinates special attention, but I think there is a shared language between Black women in tone that is, and it's nothing that I think any of us can like really explain, right? But there's a shared language and tone that's just kind of like,
No, yeah.
you know better, so do better, you know?
I say I have an answer for the second part. Don't feel weak or intimidated when you get into one of these fields, because it happens. You know, they try, you're not going to be worth this, that, you're not going to rank up, you're not going to do none of that, you know. And I personally feel like it was a test for me. You know, I felt like it was a challenge. Like, oh yeah, you think I'm not going to get this? You think I'm not going to do that? You know, I'm going to run circles around all y'all, you know, and I became supervisor. So, you know, and I'm going to continue to keep going to the top. I'm in school now for architectural design because I just want to, you know, I just want to keep going. And I want to be that role model for any Black woman or white woman or any child. You know, I just want to be there for them. You know, don't stop. Just don't be intimidated. Because I was intimidated when I started welding, you know. And I was like, ooh, big sparks. These guys are huge. They over here hanging off the wall, welding like this, you know. And one day I just like, forget it. I'm just, you know what? I'm going to run like they run. And I ran past them. So, you know.
Right past them.
I'm a little cocky.
You know what though?
It
What
just-
you said
you
was
have
a
to
good
be.
point. When you said, I'm going to run past them. It's also a thing of finding your own lane and doing what you do best and not allowing anybody to dictate what your lane looks like.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right now, Opal. All right.
Look, the pastor in me gonna come out and stop. We had another question from the comments that said, let's see. I saw a question. Oh, we talked about what would you guys implement. Do any of you guys actually have something that you have specifically was your baby that you birthed, a program that you put together, your blood, sweat, and tears that you put together that you have seen flourish and help the community or help young women, you know, come along, or people as a whole, not just women, but mainly women?
Good question.
Let's get some kudos.
So,
let's clap. Yeah.
Yes.
I had to write a point paper. So big military policy for all branches. Currently, there's a 5-year statute of limitation for non-penetrative sexual assault and abusive language. And I had an incident happen to me. And when I filed all of these congressional complaints and inspector general complaints, it wasn't until we sat down with all of the paperwork that my actual naval lawyer was like, there's a 5-year statute of limitations on this. And since it was at 6.5 years when I reported all of the details, there was no punishment that happened. So I wrote a point paper with my congressional complaint that went over different cases to set precedents, but I'm currently addressing this with the Senate Armed Services Committee. I think that this is one of those cultural things, right, where you got to learn to love your institution, right? I have so much love for the military and what it's done for me and watching people grow and change. So what better way to honor your service than to help it grow and change? So that's like a big initiative, probably not anything that I'll see during my time, but we have legislative fellow opportunities that we get to go and work with different Congress people. So I'm hoping to do that to try to push that agenda forward, because it's just ridiculous that even exists, right? And a fun note that the statute of limitations for sexual assault in the military was not removed until 2018. So we have work to do.
Definitely.
And y'all can write y'all Congress people too. I'm just saying.
I was just about to point that out, so I'm glad you brought that up. And I do want to thank you for sharing that. That gave me chills just hearing your story about that. So you just keep doing what you're doing, because clearly you're going to pave a way. Okay, so sending you some encouragement, because I know sometimes, you know, you just continuously feel like you're getting cut down and just, you know, not heard or whatever. But it's just going to continue speaking up to get things done. So go ahead. Anyone else want to answer?
If you can, Miss Tabitha, if you can, when we're done, if you can provide us with some guidance on how to write your congressman. I know a lot of people, they hear it, but they don't necessarily know the easiest route, and we're always looking for the easy way. But if you could just provide us with that later, and we can put that information out for people to be able to do that, because a lot of times people feel like their voice isn't heard, but hearing that, it gives us hope.
Yep, I sure will. Because it's real easy, y'all.
We like easy.
Like
There's no excuse if it's easy, okay?
Right.
Absolutely. Okay. So we've got another comment question. What has been some of your biggest obstacles that you guys have had to overcome?
That one. In the midst of, and Tabitha kind of touched on this, when you're getting into an organization and you're at a certain age where you really are still trying to figure out who you are, that was my biggest obstacle, because I came in as this angry Black woman. And it wasn't that I was angry, I just didn't understand the importance of facial, right? So I walked around with this face because I'm always thinking, I'm always in my head, and it had nothing to do with everything that's going around me. It's just me. And I didn't realize what energy I was exuding. And so that was an obstacle to, one, not take it personal when people brought it to my attention, take it as a learning moment, and two, to actually make a conscious effort to change, to want to change, and to actually do the work to change, to present myself in a manner where in certain places I was approachable. Because how can I be out here mentoring and teaching classes at work and people don't even feel confident approaching me when I'm really just the loveliest, nicest person you could ever talk to?
LaToya, you look how you want to look, sis, period, okay? Yes.
That's a real thing. Women don't always have to wear smiles. We don't always have to look approachable. Some days you just don't want to smile. Some days you have business to handle, So like, don't come down on yourself too hard for that either. Because everybody will say, oh, you got RBF super hard. No, actually, I'm just like really busy and I don't have time to smile and make you comfortable.
And make you comfortable.
I have a sign sitting at my desk that says my face, or I'm nicer than what my face looks like, because I also have difficulty with smiling. I always have this serious face on me. So I put that sign on my desk so that when people come and approach me, they know I'm not going to bite them. They can come, and I'm here for you. I'm here to help you in any way that you can. I'm not mean. So I have to not take things personal when people, tell me the same thing. Like, why are you so angry? Or I had a gentleman at work say, the females are too emotional, or things like that. So those are the type of things that we're learning how to, Mallory, yes.
Mallory.
Those are the type of things in the office that we are trying
waiting on someone to bring that up. I was
right.
Waiting. Somebody said we're too emotional. Somebody throw it out there. Come on.
We had to go ahead and ask them to define the word emotional to see where that was even coming from. So yes, definitely have to try to not take things so personal.
Absolutely.
And how did, okay. Sidebar, folks. When you hear things like that, because I work in home building and construction, and so I'm fortunate enough to, in my division, we actually have a lot of women. However, there are women in our division who get told often that they are emotional, and to me, that makes me so angry. Okay, like, I don't understand this whole gender and showing emotions or whatever. I like to be authentic at all times. I don't care what type of setting I'm in. Clearly, here we are. I don't care if we're out having a good time or if it's business. I'm just who I am. So when you were told that, like, is it something you really beat yourself up about, like when you go home, or is it more like, you know what, I'm going to show you something, just keep talking? That's the person I am. So I'd love to hear how y'all handle that, or if you've ever been told that as well.
I've never been told that per se. I like drive forklifts and stuff like that, and I hear little comments on the side like, "Oh, there's a girl on the forklift. She's about to drive. Watch out!" Certain things like that. In my mind, I'm like, "Okay, maybe I'll hit you with it with these forks." And then I'm like, "Ha ha ha," you know. Stuff like that bothers me a little bit because now you're putting gender in the
In
mix.
that specific instant, or in the incident that I was dealing with, was pretty traumatic at that time. And we are taught in the police academy to have a calm voice on the radio, things like that. The call that I was going on was for a 3-year-old who had drowned, and this boy was in my arms, deceased. And unfortunately, the supervisor that I was working for, he was the one that said I sounded too emotional on the radio, and that next time I should probably be more attentive to how I was feeling so that the information can get passed along. And the information was passed along just fine. I addressed it in a very respectful manner at that time, but you can tell in my face that we were going to talk later. And it did happen. Other leadership was brought into that scenario, and he was spoken to, because that wasn't the importance of the call. The importance of this call is that this 3-year-old was no longer here, and it didn't matter what my voice sounded like. I still did my job. I still relayed the information on the radio, and people were still able to get to where we were at that time.
Right.
So I think that was a learning point for him to not address that to females, because if it was a male in that same situation, I don't think that he would have called him emotional.
Exactly. Like, can we just
Absolutely.
address just how the expectations there are for females than there are for males? Because exactly like you said, like if it had been a male figure in that exact position that you were in, holding a deceased child in his arms, the expectations for that response would have been totally different than they were for you. I can't imagine.
You would think it'd be hard for everyone as a human being. Just saying.
I mean, that's right.
Hey. Just saying.
Males on the low are a little bit more sensitive than women.
Not on the low.
Right.
Not on the low.
They be crying.
I'm the only female on my field team for 4 years. They emotional all the time. I have
you just be looking at
male sailors cry than female sailors cry. Trust me.
And you just look at them like, all right.
Well, I think what's interesting about what you said about it being different, had a male had gone through that, he probably would have been seen as compassionate and not emotional. And that's based off just like inherent biases and how we perceive vulnerability. Y'all, listen.
I know. And I just want to say also, just to chime in real quick, any men that's watching, okay, we're not downing,
no, it's not a male bashing session.
From our point of view in the roles that we are in, okay? That's it.
No.
I feel like this is a loaded question, personally. I don't know if we want to move on to another question, or if anyone wanted to kind of sum that question up.
I want to say this before we move on. I think our emotions actually help us. I think our emotions give us a different perspective that a lot of people don't see. Working as a homicide detective, I saw things that a lot of my male counterparts missed. So I think our emotions as women is actually a gift, and like a superhero type of sense, because we are able to do things that a lot of times men aren't able to do. I'm able to talk to a witness or a victim and relate to them and to show my emotion and show my want to find the person who did this, and that helps me. So it's like my little secret weapon, and I use it. And when they say anything to me, I just smile and I laugh, because I know deep down inside you wish you were able to do what I do, and it's okay.
Hey. Yes, for the secret weapon.
That's that women magic we were talking about.
Right. Yes, for the secret weapon. Yes.
So there's a comment in the comment section from Camille, And I want to read it because I think that this may resonate with you guys a little different individually, depending on your profession, your path. She said, I recently heard a lady speak about breaking the glass ceiling and how that comes different with different expectations, pain, and trauma. Because everybody's motivating factors are so different on why and how they're going to break that glass ceiling. Do you any of you guys have a story as far as like what motivated you or what still continues today to motivate you to push through all these barriers that you have to go through in order to get where you're trying to go in your careers?
Very good point. Everybody's
I start if y'all need to think.
different.
So mine started with my children, right? Being a single black mother with kids who did not see what I was trying to achieve. And so I knew, regardless of what I was going to be facing at work, I couldn't let my children see me break because I wanted them to see a real live superhero in their, in their world, not something in the books, not something they hear about from somebody else, not something at school. I wanted them to see it firsthand at home, both sides of it, to see the good and the bad because they see me struggle as well, but to know that it's real, it's doable, it's possible, and to understand what I've gone through and how I did it, and to know that whatever they want to do, they can make it happen regardless of what anybody says to them. So mine was my children.
My mom struggled a lot, but she always made sure that we had an incredible educational experience. So when I think about my career and the things that I want to do after I retire, a lot of it is dedicated to the fact that my mother and my grandmother spent so much time and love investing in us to be better, to show up better.
I think for me, I'm one of those where if you tell me I can't, I'm going to do it just to tell you that I can do it. And that is my motivation to continue forward as a Hispanic person, a Latina female in a male-dominated careers that I've been in between the military and police. I think that we have a label on us as being uneducated or not being able to work as harder as the next person can. And unfortunately, we have our culture that comes to look for the land of opportunity, go up, and they always throw that undocumented thing on us and, oh, you can't do this. And I don't let that stop me from anything. I'm going to show you what I can do so that you can change your mind and treat us all with respect, and that's been one of the hardest things that I feel in the careers that I've been in, especially now with youth services. I sometimes feel like the Raggedy Ann doll of the unit because I am the translator. So everybody pulls me from everywhere. So I have to dig deep down inside me and not think that way and know that I'm not being used. I have a skill that I was born with to go ahead and help other people. And that's what keeps my drive moving, because if not, I probably would just get beat down. But I'm going to prove to you that I'm going to go ahead and do this job, and I'm going to do it better than you so that next time you can come correct,
Absolutely. Come correct. Okay.
Yes, please do. Please do. Please do.
I was just about to read your question, Opal, because I love it and I want it to be answered by the panelists. So she said, did you all have any mentors or women in your field that motivated your career choice?
Yes, I'm seeing some nods.
I did and I do. So for me, as a rookie officer, SPO Gail Thomas, senior patrol officer, Gail Thomas was my mentor. She was like my mother. At work, we all have those work moms, work dads that kind of take you under your wing. Unfortunately, she was killed in the line of duty. And every day, and I was actually out on that incident when she was killed. So every day when I wake up, and my goal is just to make her proud. She she always taught me, the first thing she taught me is everybody doesn't have to go to jail. Some people just need help. And so as I get promoted and as I move forward and as I continue in my career, she is my motivation for everything, every day. Picture on my wall, and every day I come into my office, that's it. It's for her because she wasn't able to keep going in her career. So I do it for both of us.
That's awesome. I love that.
My mentor is Shawana Jefferson. She is who told me, do better by people than what was done by you. And my career length mentor is actually, he's one of my favorite people on the planet. Jason Reynolds. He's been my mentor since I've been in the Navy, like 8 years or something like that. So it's been over time, and he's a white guy. And I had to sit down with him and level with him about a lot of stuff. But what was incredible is that he was like, hey, you know what? I got to change some things here because, I never been open to this kind of like dialogue before. So it's a very like give and give, kind of mentorship. But he has crafted my entire career to where I am now. And I'm thankful for that, that investment, and also his access, which I think is really important in allyship. So yeah.
Always great to have an ally.
People
Yes,
miss out
I
on
was
that
just about to
mentor.
say
I
that.
think everybody should have a mentor in their life. Everybody, at some point, you should have a mentor.
Yes. And I think that's pretty powerful, Tabitha, that you said that, for your mentor to be someone who has probably a completely different path of life than you've had. I'm a person that if anyone knows me, I love differences. I feel like differences are what really unite us all, and it's a give and take relationship in everything that we have. So I think that that's really awesome that you have a mentor that's completely different than you and that you all can help each other, in different aspects. That's awesome.
Absolutely. So putting our creativity caps on a little bit, y'all tell me, if you were not able to do for whatever reason what you guys are doing right now in your positions, what would you like to do? What are you guys also interested in? In another reality, what would you be doing?
I'll go first. I would love to entertain, do some theater, acting.
You'd be good
I
at
can
it.
see that. I can see that.
But I just build stuff and put hot metal together now, though.
You just build the shows. You just build.
You know it.
Yes.
Anybody else have any other dreams they like to achieve?
I'll go next. Yeah, I'll go next. So previously I worked in hospitality, and my goal back then was to actually be a QA inspector and travel the world. So I worked with Hilton hotels. And so I used to love like going with the inspector in the rooms, checking the bed to see if there's any dust or bugs or whatever. So in my next life, that's what I will do.
Very glamorous. Very glamorous.
There's a job for everything, okay? And there's still time. We're all still, in our prime. So keep living up to those dreams. Keep doing it. You got nothing but time, okay?
Nothing but right. Plenty of time. Plenty.
Make it happen.
Not me.
For me, I wanted to be a pilot. So it was in high school, I was going to go to the Air Force. So if I wasn't doing this, I would be flying planes somewhere, traveling the world, maybe hanging out with her, checking out some hotels,
Absolutely. Well, it's definitely not too late to do that.
I just would have went to Broadway. Like in my mind, I'd be in Broadway in the shower. I'd be in Broadway around the house. Like I just, probably would suck, but totally in my mind, it's settled.
That's where you are. Having millions of fans. Yes.
Yes.
People coming to see you from all over the world. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Okay, looks like we've got a couple more comment questions. Tell me, have you all faced, it says, different trials as you've elevated in your career? So something that is that sticks out for you, that has made a pivotal moment, that's been a pivotal moment in your career, to get you to where you are today.
I say judging a book by its cover. So say for
Mhm.
instance, it's me at the job and then there's someone else, male, younger male, 10 years younger male, come in. I just graduated from welding school. I'm blah 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 blah. Okay, you're starting off with more money than I am. And I've been here this amount of time. You've been here this amount of time. This has happened to me a couple times. So months go on, a couple months go on, and they're like, okay, he's not that good. We'll just give you some more money. We'll elevate you up. Now the younger person is hating. Now, hey, you took blah, 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 blah. You get what I'm saying? You get where I'm coming from, right?
Mhm. That competition.
Yeah,
Constant.
it's like it's constant competition, which I'm not I'm a competitor, but I don't want to be your competitor at work, I want to be your coworker.
Right.
Right.
You said that's your own lane. That's what.
And I don't disclose none of my funds with anyone. So, you know.
Let's let that be known.
Servant leadership. Teaching leadership is like one of my favorite things to do. Like I'm a Brené Brown freaking fan. Oops, I cussed y'all. I'm sorry. I'm in the military. I'm in the Navy. It's natural.
Anything you ain't heard before, it's okay.
But really like leveling. Like, listen, there's nothing that I am too old or too experienced to learn. But also holding my peers and my subordinates accountable. If I'm not doing something that I'm supposed to be doing for you, you have to let me know, as you have to give me a better opportunity to lead you or help you get to where you're going. So that's definitely was kind of like, hey, you a chief now. So like, here's 46 sailors. Congratulations. You're responsible for them 24 hours a day. So it was just kind of like, well, I guess I gotta step it up and figure out how to do this, but also stay humble and remain human.
Remain authentic.
Remain in touch with your emotions.
Right. Genuine, remaining true to
Yeah.
who you are, authentic. Yeah.
Yes.
Even when people are watching, when they're not.
I wanted to see if Nakia or Melissa wanted to answer real quick before we move on to the next question.
Yeah, I think Nakia was trying to chime in.
Yeah, so like I tell people, I have real conversations. I have to come out to people every day, and it gets tiresome sometimes because you see the different facial expressions. You hear the little whispering and all of that. So that's one journey that I am fighting every day because I'm in all different spaces, in LGBTQ meetings, groups, things like that, but also outside of those, just going into a business and introducing myself, trying to get them to sign up for our Safe Place program or something like that. So it's definitely a journey every day. And every day I tell myself, I don't want to do this, but then I wake up and I'm like, let's go do it. So that's definitely a journey. And I don't know. Imagine coming out every single day. And I tell people I'm Black, I'm female, I'm Christian, I'm a lesbian, and I'm a woman. So it's like at some point on the news, and I'm police. So at some point on the news, somebody hates us or hates a part of who I am. So it's definitely an everyday journey for me.
I felt that one. That was.
I know.
People look at me too, and they're like, I say my wife, and they're like, "Excuse me." Yeah, you heard it right. Okay, like I get that, and it does get tiring. So but you're doing good for the community, so don't stop. Okay, just keep it going.
So thank you.
I do want to move on to the next question. Knowing what you all know now in your careers, would you choose the same career path and journey, or would you choose a different path for yourself?
I would never. I would never. There is no way on this planet that I would have developed into the woman that I've developed into, been able to have the experiences that I've had and share that had I not taken this path. I don't question it ever. It is exactly where I was supposed to be. I have interacted with the exact people I was supposed to interact with. And we cannot look back on things and take any of that lightly. I personally would not have done anything else. And I left Cincinnati, so that was like a plus.
That was a goal from the beginning, okay?
I wouldn't change nothing, because it made me more knowledgeable, made me more stronger, made me learn how to deal with things better, especially when it was interactions with anyone, women or men, and it helped me, not dream anymore. It helped me have goals. So I'm just gonna keep reaching to the top. So no, it wouldn't change.
I agree with everybody. I wouldn't change anything. I mean, everything that I've been through, everything that I've done, everything that, in my mind, I might have failed at, but I never failed. It brought me to where I am, who I am today. So I wouldn't change anything. I would do the same career. I'm not going to stop being a police officer. I love it.
I definitely agree with everybody else. I have gone over some mountains, and I say mountains. That's what they were. But choosing my military career wouldn't change it. Just like Tabitha said, I was very dependent on folks, and going into the military at the age that I went made me find me, made me realize I didn't need to depend on anybody, that I can do things on my own. I didn't really have that family support on the outside, but I found my family on the inside. And I had that encouragement all the way, even up into the police department. When folks said you couldn't do it, my ex, I was married, and that was my biggest naysayer right there. No, you can't do that. It's too much. You will never be able to accomplish it. So this is, like everybody said, this is where we're supposed to be at, and I'm here for a reason, and I'm enjoying the ride.
I love
So
that.
y'all took everything I was gonna say. Oh, sorry, but y'all took
No,
everything
please, go
I was
ahead.
gonna say. So I'm gonna be cheesy and say that I wouldn't change it, because otherwise I wouldn't have met my wife. So no, I'll never change.
That actually brings us to our last question about support system. How you said that you met your wife on base. Like, is there anybody that you guys would like to give some acknowledgement to that have been by your side and supporting you on this journey that you've been on? I know we talked about mentors, but just people that you go to, that friends that you may have made along the way, spouses, family members. Like, is there anybody in your life that you want to say, give some accolades to us as far as thank you for being there supporting me?
Oh, well, you know who this person is. I have
I do.
two very, very best friends, Marquita and Einar. I literally would not be here mentally, probably physically or emotionally, had it not been for the support system that best friends provide. I think it's different from family. It's different from relationships. There is a special kind of love that best friendships have. And it's yes. Yes. That's it.
Just solid. Anybody else got a rock in their life?
Well, I'm already going to mention, you already know, it's Daiquiri. When I met Daiquiri, I was in a really, really bad place. And she helped me through, motivated me every day, said it's going to be all right, just always being there. I've never had nobody so freaking nice and just so kind and so genuine, and just, she keeps me going. So I give gratitude to her. I love her. She's gonna be my wife one day.
For me, I have a really, really great support system. But my wife, Shy, she has supported me through going to get my master's, every promotional exam. I'm studying for the lieutenant's test now. She's on me. She keep opening the door, trying to check and see how much longer I'm gonna be on here. Like she own me, and I love that. She whatever we put our minds to, even starting a business together, teaching diversity training. Well, we do it together. So she's my one. She's my person.
Yes. Beautiful. That is beautiful. All right,
This
ladies.
was amazing. Thank you guys.
Last question. Can you all tell us what type of support system does your field specifically offer to help you all in your personal life day to day? What can you go to? Is that an organization or?
We have a employment assistant program for health management and behavioral studies. So they pay for like 5 sessions of so often for therapy, and if you need help to talk to someone, and actually help my daughter too. Paid for like 10 visits, so I'm really happy about that. So yeah.
Yes, for the coverage. Yes.
So the police department, we actually have a couple different outlets. One is our behavioral wellness section, and it's basically where you, your spouse, you, your kid, you, family, you, friends, whatever, anybody who's connected to you, they create a space where you can go and talk about if it's a call that was bad, or you can talk about your family life, anything. They open it up, and it's no cost to employees.
And we're also, I'm a part of a mentorship. It's a peer supporter within the department. So if you don't feel comfortable in the setting that she was just describing, then you can reach out to a fellow officer who may have had like a related situation, or they may feel comfortable, or that trust is already built, and they just call you. They call you, you keep it confidential, and you just talk like friends. I think that's the route I like to go. I don't like to go in the whole therapy session, and not that I'm down in it. I just feel comfortable talking to somebody who's been in my shoes. That's all.
Yeah. Something more casual sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone who's been there, absolutely.
We actually mimic and have the exact same thing. I'm the sergeant over the peer support program. So I agree with you on that. It's different when you talk to someone who's actually been through what you're going through and can relate to those feelings and emotions. We also have employee assistance program and police athletic league. We have everything that you can think of, honestly, within the city. Liaisons, college liaisons, LGBT liaisons, Spanish liaison. So there's a lot of resources that we have here.
Nice.
Yeah, the military has overhauled their mental health care system as a whole. So it's really like it's what we go to first. Hey, you having a bad day? You can't come to work. Hey, you go to sick call, go to mental health. Like, take care of yourself. You're no good to us here if you can't focus or you don't feel well. So take care of you first. It's definitely has flipped in the past like 10 years or so, I would say.
Absolutely. Take care of you first so you can
Awesome.
take care of others. Absolutely. I do. Mal, were you going to say something?
Of course.
Go ahead.
Because I'm more of the conversationalist here. Clearly, I'm trying to watch the questions, but I really just want to kind of go back and just notate to those that are watching at the fact that none of the panelists wanted to change their career paths or change the route that their lives have taken. And I feel like that's huge to kind of, show, because that's the whole point of this, this live right here, is to show that women can be successful in male dominant career paths. And the fact that none of you wanted to change that, I feel like that speaks volume to those that may look into going to the military or welding or, being a detective, police officer, like just seeing someone being able to do that and knowing that you are truly happy, even with the obstacles that you come across, that just brings hope and, just a lot of encouragement to those that are hopefully watching. And, the new generation that's coming through, I just feel like we can just really speak to them. And so I really just appreciate you all just being honest and being very vulnerable in this conversation. So I just wanted to say thank you and note that to our viewers.
Absolutely, yeah. That's why I did. We want to highlight these amazing women. I'm glad you pointed that out as well, Mallory. Thank you for that. That they wouldn't change anything, and I'm glad they wouldn't, because all of you are extremely amazing and valuable in each of your communities. So, just want to highlight and give you the opportunity to shine in your platforms tonight. That is the entire purpose of this event. So absolutely just saluting each of you. And with that being said, I do want to allow each of you to provide any future contact information. I know that we're kind of like in different areas and things like that, but I do want to allow you guys the opportunity to provide that for our viewers. So if anyone else has any other questions or contact that they would like to reach out to you guys, for us to be able to provide that for everyone. Opal, I'm gonna throw it to you because you are more let's see, you're more familiar with the platform on how we can share our panelists' contact information with our viewers. The simplest way for us to do that, I know I've got a, let's see.
Well, what we can do, for sake of time, this is recorded, so people will actually be able to go back and view it. But what we can do, if you guys can visually, we can go start with Nakia and Melissa. Just give your name, any contact information, if it is a platform where somebody can contact you, and what they can contact you about, and then just verbally state it, and then I'll go back and then type it up. And post it again. But people can always pull this taping back up. It's on Facebook and it is on YouTube. We're going to start with Miss Nakia and Melissa, and then go to Ashley, then Tabitha, then Murphy, and wrap up.
All right, y'all. So again, Nakia Reed. My email is my first name, Nakia, Nakia, .reid, REID, @nashville.gov. And I don't care if you have a question or you want to be a police officer, because we are always hiring. Anything that you need, you can email me, reach out to me.
Mine is basically the same as hers. It's my first and last name. So it's melissa.flores @nashville.gov. I'm sorry, I'm tired. Nashville.gov. And that's probably the best way to reach me, because the phones kind of stay elsewhere. But like she said, if you have any questions regarding anything or something personal that you need me to look into, I'm here for it.
Hello again. All right. You guys can reach me at it's pdawesome85 @gmail.com. You can ask me anything you like. If you want a house build or something, or some frames, let me know, and I got you.
You all can contact me. I actually have a soap business that's amazing, and it focuses on transdermal wellness specifically for people of color. So you can find me at www.lizandrose.com. And you can always email me at tabitha@lizandrose.com.
Nice. You're muted, Murphy.
Again, I hit
There you go.
delay. All right. So you can contact me through email. It's cjmurphy, MURPHY, @atlantagA.gov if you have any questions or anything. Like they said, we always hiring. It is what it is. We need all the officers we can get. But if you have anything else, that's fine. Also, as I spoke about earlier, my wife and I, we have a consulting company, and she's actually a licensed therapist, primarily for LGBTQ community, and she specializes in trauma. And the website for that is www.shine counseling.com.
Awesome. Thank you guys. And of course, we're all with Beta Phi Omega Sorority Incorporated, and we all can be reached through that particular portal. If you want to go through Facebook, Instagram, the actual website, our names are above: Danielle, Mallory, and Opal. And yeah, this was awesome. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, all our panelists, for taking your time out of your busy schedules, your busy lives, and giving us this moment. We really appreciate it. Thank you for breaking that glass ceiling. You guys are doing an awesome job doing what you are doing. Hey!
Yay! Love it. Love it. Yes,
Hey,
thank
yes.
you, Black Cream Gloves. Yes.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you all so much. Thank you guys, viewers, as well, for watching. Y'all have a great rest of your night.
Thank you.
Thank you.